Hello Voice TV fans, I hope you love the second season. So we pick up with Princess Margaret where we left off in season 1, which is, I kind of really thought about the fact that the last line she says in the series is that I'm lost without Peter. It really felt like a continuation of the first season, and it's really funny watching watching bits of it. I haven't seen it yet, but watching bits of it, it's really striking how they suddenly seem so grown up, Philip and Elizabeth, and everyone kind of looks different, and so it's really, it felt like we were growing up with them this season and that she was becoming a woman. The only thing I knew about Margaret was that she's kind of an old lady, she was the Queen's sister, Prince Charles's aunt, and that I knew from what people said that she seemed a little bit sort of unhappy, or she was a tragic figure, whether or not that was true for her. I mean, I couldn't say, but it's been such a privilege to play her because I got to find out who the girl was, and you're not born like that, and so what shaped that sort of life, and that I think we know that she drank a lot and had a series of relationships that seemed pretty toxic. You get to play a section of their life, and that's amazing. You just don't get jobs like that, so yeah. I think it's changed. I think when she meets Tony, the whole idea of love is completely different, and I think for her, I imagined that actually who she married, and being an eligible princess globally, marriage was an extremely important thing to her. She saw her sister get married to Philip, somebody that wasn't appropriate, somebody that her father didn't approve of, and yet Elizabeth got to do it. So I think she always felt like, I will marry who I want to, and when it is, it will be bigger than my sister's, and it will be a real moment for me. And holding on to the idea of it being Peter and then that being completely taken away by your older sibling is the most. I mean, psychologically, I just don't know how someone would go through that. And so I think love for her was finding a man in which could be her kind of partner in crime and her match. And this season, she thinks she's found it in Tony. And Matthew Good's amazing, and we just had the best time. So hopefully that comes across. On the back of a motorbike with Tony.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was a really significant moment for us because when I read the scripts I was like, yes, she gets on a motorbike, she's so cool, the Queen would never do that. So I think there's a shot when Margaret's kind of like hugging him at the back, and it's a sort of close up on her face, and she thinks she's kind of found herself. I think this season gets darker and deeper and braver and bolder, and I think the difference between this season and season 1 is that we break out of the palace. We were very much within the palace walls with the family and the king and the Queen Mother, and now we go into 60s London with Margaret, and we go to the Suez Crisis, and we go on tour to Antarctica with Philip, and we get in the world of sort of the Jackie Kennedy and the Americans with the Queen. And so I hope for people it's a sort of explosion outside the palace, and life for these people within more of the world, I think. I hope.